Beach Road. My name is Katy. I immigrated to Bowen in 1986, my big move into independence. I moved here from Horseshoe Bay. I chose Bowen so that I could walk to work from my job at the Texaco, and so that my mom would have to call before she dropped in. A girlfriend and I moved to the summer house, which is now beside Doc Morgan's. Legion membership was mandatory. It meant that you were part of the community. We knew our neighbors and didn't lock our doors. I immediately signed up for volleyball and slow pitch baseball. Before I knew it, I had a network of friends because of the commute and the sports. Since then, I have worked at the Bowen Building Center, Lee Automotive, when it was the center of town, and at the pub, and at the kennel. At the kennel, one of my roles was auxiliary bylaw officer from 2000 to 2008. I looked after the impounded dogs, including the ones that devastated the farm next door to Belterra. It was horrific, and I'm glad I do not do that job anymore. I now work for Vancouver Coastal Health, doing home support with my community, keeping the people of my community in their homes as long as possible, making the fabric of where we live strong and vital. My son now plays ball and is attending BCIT to become one of our local taxi drivers. I think we are a part of Bowen's fabric and would like to stay in a permanent affordable housing unit of our own. Belterra is ideal, an eco-friendly community within our heritage community, a place I can grow Bowen grandbabies, 10 gardens, the earthly kind and the humanly kind. I'm looking forward to companionship when needed and solitude when not, dining with others, working with others for the good of the whole. I also hope to be watching many more ball games, and my mom's still calling before she comes.
We have next Steve Snyder.
My name is Stephen Snyder of 3831 Clark Drive, Vancouver. My family and I have been members of Belterra Co-Housing for 4 years. We have committed time and money to this project as we believe co-housing offers the best possible environment to raise our children. We have willingly accepted the risk inherent in this type of development as we believe it offers an excellent model of sustainability of community housing. This project also offers our family an affordable home with diverse community amenities and neighbors who are willing to lend a hand. I am also a building design professional who's worked on Bowen for over the last 15 years. Belterra offers a pioneering model of community-friendly development which meets and or exceeds Bowen's guidelines and gives back to the larger community. We look to this project to be the small village neighborhood which we feel is missing in this day and time. We offer ourselves as good neighbors, willing to work with our neighbors and Bowen Island municipality on any issue that may arise and to lend a hand to all those who wish to follow our model. I kindly ask the Mayor and Council to support Belterra Co-Housing rezoning proposal. Thank you.
The next speaker is Peter Frinton.
Good evening. Thank you very much. My name is Peter Frinton. I live at Ravenhill Farm, which is adjacent to the subject property and I guess most impacted. It's on Carter Road, and for people who might not know why it's Carter Road because 100 years ago this year, Mr. Carter came from Ohio and homesteaded what is now Ravenhill Farm. So we've only lived there for the last 40 years, so I may be fairly propitious, and it's largely because I sort of feel like I'm part of the land. What I wanted to say is, first I wanted to ask a question, which is, there are 2 councillors missing, and while there's no mandatory attendance, I'm just wondering if they are absent or whether they have recused themselves. Because if they've recused themselves, they should make a statement to that effect?
No, they did declare a conflict,
Okay.
but according to our solicitor, they did not.
They don't need to. Okay, just for that. So what I want to say outright was that I do support in general terms Belterra. I think that it's gone through a number of iterations, and the co-housing model is one that has significant merit. I don't think I need to review all of the reasons about that. There are technical reports that support, and I think that there's been very good due diligence done in the development of this proposal. However, there are still a few outstanding concerns, which in my opinion should be addressed before third reading. So the first of this is density tracking. So I mean, Belterra is possible because of the OCP 3.4.4 and the policy 144 and a couple of other policies, which essentially say yes, it can be a density receiving area. So there is an ability to reallocate density, and yet in the application it doesn't say exactly from where that's going to come or how it can become. It's not a difficult problem, but it is something that should be tracked so that there is a loose accounting of where the density is coming from to provide additional 29 units.
Is this set out in your letter?
Yes, I hope I'm not belaboring it, because there are ones where I wish to refer to things that people have said. Okay. So, okay. The second one is just an omission, which is it's silent on secondary suites. Now, secondary suites are permitted in a number of residential areas, and they're permitted in some comprehensive development zones. It does not say specifically that they are permitted here. My understanding is that they are not intended, that you will have 30 units and that's it. But I believe there should be a clause in there which essentially disallows additional units, because you're already getting an awful lot of density here. Third one, and this is just in reference to trails, and both the Greenways Committee and Bill Newport spoke to this. Which is, and I'm very pleased that the responsibility for construction of trails will now rest with the Belterra proponents. My suggestion, the suggestion of the Greenways, was not to allow people to walk right adjacent to the creek. I am saying I think that that's fine as long as there is some barrier, as there is at Headwaters Park, so that you don't have dogs entering into the creek in the area just above the intake for the water and for the salmon enhancement facilities. So that is identified on the maps there, the trail. There's also an issue there, which is area 7, which is it's number 7, which is I think it's the auxiliary or ancillary building below the road which goes up Belterra, and you know, it may be described as being within the riparian area, or may be outside the area, but in any case it drains directly into that creek. And I have a real concern about development in that area, and I would say that one mitigation is to ensure that there's adequate ditching, which takes water away from that area and takes it down the hill away from the creek. Next item was about price-restricted non-market housing, and I think Elizabeth Ballantyne has remarked on this already. There are definitions. Andy Baird has a definition in the application, and there are certainly our housing policy 0803 refers to the forms, how it could take place, but in the absence of a housing corporation, then I think it's very important to have this covenant with the municipality for non-market housing nailed down, particularly because it's not going to be rental housing, it will be sub-market purchased housing. Next item was about energy considerations, and I know that it was mentioned that there was a hope that there would be car sharing. There is an unusual attribute to this application, which is that there be 1.5 parking spaces per unit. All of our rural zoning requires 1, and all of our CDs is 1. I think that if you're trying to say, well, we're trying to have as few cars as possible, we should not be requiring them to provide 50% more than any other rural development or any other comprehensive development on the island. So I'm suggesting that it be changed to 1, so you have 30 stalls. If they want to build extra, that's, you know, what they can do. And I quite frankly think that there should be a clause in there which requires some kind of shared vehicle use. But I'm just saying you don't have to set the bar higher than the norm in this regard. Provision of water and sewer, I think that this is being belabored, and at second reading there was a change in this, and that the primary responsibility now rests with the proponents to ensure that they have their own water and sewer, and they may be able to, at full cost, hook up to municipal servicing. My concern on this is that it not be done on a preferential basis. We have a lot of demands for the new sewer plant. We have a lot of demands for water, and I want to make sure that we are not allocating water to this development in advance of or without making provision for the community lands, the lands along Miller, and any other lands which lie within the greater Sun Cove water and sewerage district, so that those people who have not been able to get on, like Abbeyfield, are not then told, uh-oh, you can't get on anymore. Just a quick couple more. One was a Bowen first clause. This isn't a novel housing form, but it is unique and it is new. And I think that it's very important that there be a period of time during which it is marketed primarily to people on island. From the impression that I get from the number of members now, that is so. But I don't think, I would hate to see it sold off to off-islanders when we might have people who are qualified and want to purchase on island. So I think there should be a period of time, I'm suggesting 1 year from the time the rezoning is granted, to ensure that people who wish to partake are not beaten to the draw by people off island. Very quickly now, 2 more items. One is a good neighbor agreement, and this is my personal interest here. We don't have an effective noise bylaw. When the previous development was done, which was the school and the church, the heavy trucks came up from the works yard, and they couldn't negotiate the Y. And so what they would do is they would drive up and back out, beep, 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 beep. And this went on 7 days a week. There were a huge number of gravel trucks and concrete trucks. 3 of them got stuck in the ditch there. So certainly that portion of the road needs to be fixed up. I think that has been pointed out, and I know Will Hilson is well aware of this, and there are negotiations about that. The bridge needs to be upgraded, I believe, because it doesn't accept the weight of the newest fire truck which will be coming. And if you had a fire on one of those top lots, I think it would be very hard to run water even from the hydrant up there in a timely fashion. But I would hope, in terms of good neighbor, that there be a agreement or an understanding that they would work reasonable hours, and I'm suggesting 6 days a week, 8 to 5, so that you're not going 7 days a week and that. And the final one is the connector roadway. So this is again their main roadway, and it connects to lands beyond, which in this case is Camp Bow Isle. And the 16 hectare or 40 acre chunk of land adjacent is an extraordinary piece of property. It is very much it's a hilltop. It has development potential, and it is zoned institutional. What I would hate to see is a situation like we had with White Sails Drive, where a new development goes in and people are both upset and displeased that there could be access through their place. My understanding is a strata road would be at the discretion of the strata as to whether they would allow access through to that land. If that access is not provided, it is very, very difficult to provide that. I believe that it should be a condition of this project that there be access granted along there. So just to wrap up, I want to say that it's a neighborhood already. It's the Carter Road neighborhood that was laid out in their Carter Road neighborhood plan, and I really welcome Belterra as an addition and as a respectful addition to our neighborhood, and I wish all best success in this. Thank you.